Welcome to The Art of Being Unstoppable, the podcast where we will go beyond the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. Be part of down-to-earth, no BS conversations where we will explore hot topics on love and money, relationships and business, beauty, and who we get to be with all that shit in between. With our insights and your actions, let's be unstoppable together. Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode. We have so much fun, T. Like, honestly, who has more fun, right? Before we start, before we come on camera and start press record, we talk about a lot of things because, we both have our own weeks and we touch base throughout the week, but lots happens and we get busy. So we always have a little powwow before and we always think, why don't we just press record and record all of this too? Right?
Yes.
So today we kind of wanted to talk about, are you hiding your true self? Are you showing up for yourself? Or are you hiding? And I think, this is a question we all get to ask ourselves too. I remember when Tina asked me, I want you to do a live, and she asked me in front of people. So I had to. Because, right, it was like, if we're coaching people on stepping out of your comfort zone, and that was my comfort zone, and I'm not going to take that challenge on, then how am I going to grow my business? How am I going to get out there for people to see me and know who I am? So I remember when you said that, and I was sick. I was like, I'm going to die. I think I'm going to die. If I do this, I'm going to die. I'm not going to be able to do this. And I did it. And now it's just like, and this sounds crazy, but I do it because if one person can learn something or change or see something in themselves that they know that they're not alone, that's all I want.
And this, it's really great, Vicki, because I remember your first live, scared shitless and doing it anyways. And I remember it was almost like scripted, almost forced. And I remember I said, get out of your head and into your heart. You're like, I don't even know what that means. Like, what? I'm like, forget about the script, let go of the script, just be with people. And then you did it again and you got more connected to people. And then you did it again and you got more connected. And now it's just like, boom, you don't even think about it. You get on and this is what it feels like in the beginning. We're so concerned about looking good and avoiding looking bad and wanting to say the right things and worrying about saying the wrong things that we're not actually fully out here present with people. We are in our head. And this is the thing. In our head is not our essence.
No.
It's not who we actually are. It's, that persona or whatever. And so
and the ego,
I loved
too,
watching that.
Right? The ego. Like, oh my God, what if somebody's going to say something about me? And what if, oh my God. And you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I love this because when I see my grandchildren and how like, they're so, nothing bothers them. They're just so like, they'll dance, they'll do it doesn't matter because they have this unrestricted, they're not afraid of it. They just don't know what to be afraid of. So they're not afraid. And it doesn't matter what other people think because, again, if we can be authentically who we are, our true selves. But my question is, and I think that, how do you know who you are? Like, do you even know who your true self is?
No. Most of us do not know. And this is how I know this to be true. When we're like your grandchildren, young and free and really larger than life, curious, whatever, something happens. This is a human condition. Something happens and we make a decision of who we have to be when life is happening. Don't jump on the furniture. Oh, that's bad to jump on the furniture. I shouldn't be playful. Boom, a filter. Then another filter, another filter. Then what happens is we go through life with these filters and then we're like, but this is who I am. Okay, this is who you've created yourself to be. But that essence is more childlike, more fun, more playful, more of the way we were before life happened. And this is what we don't see. And I had an experience. Okay, you guys know I've done 5,000 plus hours of personal development training. I do an hour a day of spirituality, Kabbalah. And I had a coaching session with a client this week. And after the session, she's like, man, Tina, I'm just like, every time I talk to you, I'm so energized. I feel like I can take on the world. She said, are you open to feedback? And I thought, oh, shit. What?
Right?
Yes, of course I'm open to feedback. I don't want it, but give it to me. And so she said, I don't know who you are anymore. And I said, what do you mean? She said, your content online, you're not doing lives. Your emails are about LinkedIn strategies. Yes, you can give LinkedIn strategies, and yes, you can help people grow their business on LinkedIn, but that's not who you are. You are a breakthrough coach. You help people unpack things that they've been hanging on to their whole entire life in minutes. Why are you not talking about that? And I had to ask myself that question. Okay, why am I hiding my essence, my true self, my actual God-given gifts? And this is something I've never shared online. Vicki has been through this with me, so she knows. But a couple years ago, I worked with a client, and she got really triggered on a coaching call. She saw something that she didn't want to see. She didn't want to be responsible for. And after that, she wanted a refund. I wouldn't give her a refund because I thought, you can't work with me for 3 months and then ask for a refund. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, no take backs. I'm sorry you're triggered, but deal with the trigger. But that ended up in her contacting a lawyer. I was receiving letters from her lawyer. Then I started receiving letters from the Better Business Bureau. I started getting, reviews on Google that were really hateful, to the point where Google removed it and said that it was hate. I started having people reach out to me and say, hey, I got this private message from this person saying not to work with you. I got letters from the privacy commissioner. I almost had to get a lawyer to deal with the privacy commissioner, because the privacy commissioner was basically telling me that I was a liar, that I put a privacy policy up after the formal complaint. And I was like, so she had these big people in her corner and was leveraging these people to scare me.
Yeah.
But see, when you have God on your side, and you have this level of certainty that everything's good, it's coming from the creator and it's here to teach me something. I was rattled. My ego was rattled. Like, I felt bad. I felt bad for her. I felt bad that she had that experience, but I didn't back down from any of those people. This
Nope.
went on for a year. But what I didn't see in my blind spot is I had made an unconscious decision that coaching people too deeply has negative consequences. Even though I've coached over 3,000 people to a breakthrough, I never had this experience. And I made a decision that it was not safe for me to coach people because bad things can happen. Now, I have lots of personal development and I have lots of awareness. I didn't see that because it was actually traumatizing to me, but I was masking it with, I'm fine. The ego was like, I'm good. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But unconsciously, I was like, okay, but if this can happen to her, it can happen to more people. And what if this keeps happening? And then I put on the brakes. And then it was easy. My comfort zone was give LinkedIn strategies, because if I don't have to coach people, I don't have to get sued. I know it sounds crazy,
But
but
it isn't crazy.
unconsciously.
It isn't crazy, Tina. You went through it. I was with you through every step of that, and I know what it did to you. And I know what it took from you. But I also know that we do this podcast about being unstoppable for a reason. And you, out of anyone that I have ever met, will uncover it in the time that it takes for you, whatever it is, but you did, and you faced it. And that's the difference. That trigger showed up for that person. She didn't want to face it. A lot of times we don't want to face the hard truths or the hard things that come up for us. We don't.
I don't.
No, who does?
Are you open to feedback? Oh shit. No, not really, but go ahead,
Exactly.
give it to me.
Exactly. And your view is your view, and my view is my view. We each have a different experience and perception of things, but it's about allowing it in. And you did,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
we've had this
Mhm.
conversation. Because I said to you for a long time, like, where is Tina Brigley?
Yeah.
Where is
I was
she?
like, what do you, like, there are some days when you would say that I felt like telling you to shut the fuck up. Like, really, I was just like, what the fuck? I'm right here. Why are you asking me that question? And it was like, because it was so deep, it was like, I'm doing the best that I can. If you can't see that, oh well, like
Yep,
this is what I'm doing.
yep.
But it was almost like those triggers are messengers when
Mhm.
you feel that emotional reaction that something's waiting to be transformed.
Yep.
And it might not be right now,
No.
it might not be a month from now, but when you're ready to release, and these are those filters,
Yep.
when you're ready to release and be responsible, sometimes it's deep. Sometimes it's like we hang on to it. And m- that's not to say I wasn't moving forward in my life.
Oh
I was
God,
still
no.
creating a lot of great,
Absolutely.
but it was a subtle, like, stopping because I wasn't completely unconstrained. I was showing up with chains that I couldn't see, and this is what we do. We have these chains that we can't see, and it doesn't matter how many books you've read, it doesn't matter how many personal
No.
development seminars you went to or how many
Yep.
coaches or how much money you spent. If your ego does not want to see something, if this filter is thick, you will only break it down when you're ready to receive.
Yep. Yep.
You might have to be hit with the same message over and over and over again to be like, wow. And this was a pattern that showed up this week. So when I saw it, when my client asked me that
Yep.
question, then I had another client. The theme was she was actually hiding. Like, this woman is so intuitive. And she has been, I say she's like, a novice monk hiding her robes under a business blazer. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, what? You can do that? You can do that? But then another client who actually refused coaching from me, she's like, listen, do you know who I am? Do you know what I've created? I didn't hire you for coaching. I hired you for consulting. And that was another person to be like, oh, okay. This was another opportunity for me to down the guard. But
Yep.
no, I use that as evidence. See, people don't want
Yep.
my
Yep.
coaching. But she
Absolutely.
came back to me, and something that she held on to since she was 7 years old that shaped her identity, like, literally at her core, I saw the pattern right away. And she said, Tina, I'm like blown away by the fact that you could pinpoint it so succinctly in such a short amount of time. And she then shared with me that she sees angels and guides, and she's very analytical, very
Yep.
spiritual, but she was like, I would never tell people that. I'm like, why? So then, because I had a breakthrough
Yeah.
and I shared, now these other people, and I mean, I'm talking about one of our clients sold a business for $70 million.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy.
Right?
But he's like, I didn't see that. I didn't see that this. And so when we have a breakthrough, when we become unstoppable, and there's no timeline, you
No.
have to do it now. It's
No.
our timeline, but that sharing creates a ripple and creates an impact.
Yep.
And we don't know the infinite ripple effect of when we are willing to see our own shit,
Yep.
deal with our own shit, be responsible for it. I don't know the impact, but I've already seen 100% certainty that because I was willing to see it, I've already, like, I mean, I can't even tell you how many people have reached out to me that are spiritually aligned, business owners, noticing that they're up against,
Yeah.
their own invisible barriers. I'm going back, Vicky, to like 2 years ago when I was like, no, this is who I am. And then I was like, oh, no, wait, I'm a LinkedIn strategist. Oh, no, I'm doing it. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going back to
Yeah,
original.
absolutely. But, and then, and me being in your ear as your friend and as your sister saying like, where are you? Because I see that essence, right? Because I met that essence. That's who I
Yeah.
met.
Yeah.
I met Tina
Yeah.
frickin' Brigley when you helped
Yeah.
me navigate through the deepest, darkest part of my life with my parents. I met that person. So then to see her be lost in that, right? Because I've been with you for this ride and it's not wrong. It's not right. It's a process, like you said. But if we're hiding our true selves, who do we want to be there beside us, showing us that? Who do we want to do that? We want those people closest to us. We want to be able to be our complete, honest selves with those people. Because you know my true essence. I know your true essence. And I won't push you, but I'll remind you. You don't push me,
Yeah.
but you remind me. Doing a
Yeah.
live was a breakthrough for me because now
Yeah.
I'm showing up more authentically. Now I'm realizing who I get to be for me, which then
Yeah.
it's who I get to be for others and then who they get to be for me. I had a client today, we were talking and she's been going through this kind of dance with a couple people in her life. And kept saying to her, stand in your power. You get to stand in your power. Is that how you want things to be? No, that's not how I want things to be. Okay, how would you have done that differently? And now she's seeing these signs of something that her husband hasn't done for her in 7 years. 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
He stopped doing something
Mm-hmm.
that was just a little something for her. And now he started doing it again. And I said to her, you're figuring out who you get to be, but you're holding on to that old version because you're afraid to let her go. And that's okay. But let's figure out what part of that needs to be gone. We get to do that. I don't look at, we all have mistakes. We all have skeletons in our closets per se that maybe we're not proud of or things in our families, whatever. Everyone has shit, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody's shit is anybody else's business but your own, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what my grade 7 friend thinks of me today. It doesn't matter. I was grade 7. You don't know me since I was 14 years old. You don't know who I am. So their judgment,
Mm-hmm.
and you're afraid of that judgment, so you hide your true self in all of these filters because you've made that decision in all of your life. But when we can clear off that, like, it's like wiping your eyes when you wake up in the morning and you see things a little more clearly and allowing yourself to stop and really take it in and be present with it. It's a feeling like the clarity is so empowering. It's so empowering.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that came up for me, and I wrote down while you were talking, is like, you know, um, discovering your true self is not like swimming in a bathtub. It's like swimming in an ocean. When you think you found your true self, it's like, okay, but it doesn't, it's not like, oh, here, I found her. I found my true self. No,
No.
it's a lifelong journey and a
Yes.
process. And when we think that we've gone backwards, like, I'm a LinkedIn strategist, it looks like it's a setback or I'm going backwards. But when you feel like you're going backwards, it's part of the process.
Yes.
It is exactly the way that it's supposed to
Mhm.
be. There's nothing wrong. There is no going backwards.
Mm-mm.
It's all perfect alignment. It's all part of the journey. And if you feel like in life, oh my gosh, I'm this shell of a person that I once was. No, you're not. Your true essence is always there. You're not going backwards. It's part of the rediscovery. So that was the one thing, right? It is a life journey. It's a
Absolutely.
life journey of uncovering and when you have setbacks in life or in relationships or your health or whatever, know that your process is still moving forward.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
all perfect.
Yep.
It's all perfect. But we get so caught up on like making ourselves wrong,
Mhm.
beating ourselves up. There's a certain way we need to do this. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. There's no fast tracking. It's like the movie playing out.
Yep.
You know, this is what's gonna happen, and you're gonna go here. But you know what? The end game is still happening. It's still in motion. So don't get caught up in the illusion of time because it's not linear like we've been
Yep.
programmed to believe.
Yep.
There's multiple dimensions and we won't go there, but it's like uncovering our true selves is we don't ever arrive,
No.
I think is what I'm
No.
trying to
But your
say.
essence, your we have like we have our own our goals, our morals, our like, your checklist of if you're single, okay? So what boxes does he need to check for me to be, in a partnership with somebody? You know, it I've been with my husband for almost 27 years and it's like we've changed in these 27 years. We were different when we met than we are 5 years ago and then blah 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 blah. But I'm still growing and learning about myself. Like I said to a client the other day, she goes, "Well, no, this is who I am. I've been this way since I was 14 years old." And I said, "So for 40 years you've been this way?" She said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, so when do you want to make that change then? Do you want to be who you were at 14? No? Well, then you're not who you are then. You've changed. You weren't a mother at 14. You're a mother now. You know what I mean? Our lives are completely changing. And I had a friend that used to say, I am who I am.
Mhm.
And now I realize I'm really sorry for you if that's what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Well, this is
evolving
the
is
thing that
part of the process. Like I see it. I see it in my own kids. I see it in my grandkids. I see it in you. I see it in me. I see it in people in my life. And I don't know. I love the discovery. I love the process. I don't care if it takes me, like you said, 3 steps back because I know the process is still going. I know that I'm learning and I'm discovering new things all the time and it's like waking up every day and you're in a new world.
Mm.
Like I feel that. I love that.
Yeah, you know how there's people that come into our life that no matter what, they'll complain about their life, but they'll never make
Yep.
changes and they're in the same boat.
Yep.
Consider this because sometimes we get so annoyed or so frustrated, but I'm like, there are people that come on our path. They're not meant to evolve.
Yep.
They're meant to show us what we don't want. They're meant to show us the impact of our work. What we they're shining a mirror and they're showing us something, but they're showing us why we don't want to stay where we are, the impact of staying where we
Yep.
are. We don't have to change them. They might not legit ever evolve. And they're put on this physical world to show us that.
Yep.
And that's
And
okay.
that's
They don't
okay.
have to evolve. And if you're listening right now and you're like, I don't want to evolve, I like where I am, great. You're not meant to evolve. And there's nothing wrong with
No.
that.
No.
We can live in our comfort zone. And for most people, that is great. You can have a great life. You have a great life. We're
Absolutely.
not putting ourselves up on a pedestal. We're not saying we're better, we're more evolved, or no, it's just we were put on this planet to evolve. We were put here to practice leveling up to show what's possible, to
Yep.
shine a mirror
That's
or a
right.
light. But that's okay if people don't. You are perfect, whole, and complete
Mhm.
exactly the way that you are right now. And the fact that you're here listening to this is beautiful. And maybe you get one little insight
Yeah.
that maybe might help you in some way. That's beautiful too.
Yeah.
We're not all here to do this deep inner work. We're not.
No.
And
And it's okay. And that was a hard thing for me. I mean, you've been in this personal growth, personal development, coaching world for a lot longer than I have. But behind the chair as a stylist, I was also in there, like, right, growing and not even realizing it to this extent, but it was hard for me in the beginning because, people in my circle, yes, oh yeah, this is interesting, whatever. And I guess it was an expectation. I don't now, but I had this almost expectation of what I wanted from the people in my life, like support me, understand me, listen to me, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and I've really realized something, and it's probably within this last year that I can't do that. That's not what I'm meant to do. I am meant to speak my truth. And for those who, like you said, are willing and ready to be on that journey, it's great. If you're not, that's great too. And that was a hard thing for me, I think, because, right, like you don't want to lose the people that your group, like your tribe of people that you've been closest to, because they've been who you've been for the last however many years. But I've realized that they get to still be who I've been, but they might not be where I'm going. And that's okay.
Well, yeah, I think, this is probably another podcast for another time, but like people are going to grow with you or grow away, but there's going to come a point where if you're elevating and you're being the best version of yourself and those other and people that have been close to us, like you are the sum of the five people you surround
That's
yourself
right.
with. And sometimes you can love them at a distance, but they can't be your core five. They can't be the people that you go to and rely on for that support, that guidance. It's because it will start to feel like, um, I don't want to say like you're going backwards, but like us, we're all evolving, right? And you'll start noticing like it almost feels heavy to be around certain people, and even in relationships, sometimes you feel the heaviness, and
Uh-huh.
you can have different relationships to fill different needs. But it's unfortunately when people take this on with velocity, that's part of the process too, letting go of people that are, not put on your path to elevate you. They're
Yeah.
put on your path to teach you a lesson.
Yep.
And that's the hardest part of being, I don't want to say a light creator, but when you're in this
Mhm.
space and you do the spiritual work, and I mean, not just the feel good yoga
Oh,
meditation, I'm
no.
talking about looking at the shadows and the dark parts of
Yeah.
ourselves and the parts that we don't want to see. That's the real work. When you do that kind of work, you do have a different it's an energetic
Yeah,
exchange. You
I was just gonna say
feel
that. It's the energy, and I was
it's the
never
consciousness.
I never realized it was energy before. So, in discovering your true self, you discover things about yourself and where you want to be and where you want to let go of.
Yeah,
Right? And
yeah.
that could be in your environment. That could be, maybe you were a sugar addict, maybe you were a drinker, maybe you smoked cigarette, maybe whatever. But like, if you're gonna quit something, you gotta my oldest son was an addict, and he had to remove himself from everyone that he surrounded himself with when he got clean, or he wouldn't have gotten
Mhm,
clean, right? So it's
mhm,
like,
mhm,
and that was his path, and that's what he had to choose. And yes, was it hard? But to see him flourish in that and grow from that's a spectacular thing. And
mhm. Yeah.
I see these things, and I my heart is just so full to know that when we can touch people's lives, even in the smallest way, when someone says, "I saw your video today. Thank you so much. I needed that today." Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
yeah. Like your video last week, the podcast, if you didn't listen to it, guys, when we're sharing about like there's only power in now, and you shared that reel, I had people direct message me and respond and say, yes, yes, yes. I mean, I was getting messages all day from that
Yeah.
little reel.
Yeah.
So what that signals is that's feedback that that message resonated, you
Yeah.
know, and this is the beauty when we share, when we learn and we
Mhm.
share, we give it away, it sparks, you know, I think of the 4 phases of desire. We don't know that we have a desire, but something like that, a powerful message like you sent last week, can spark a desire to see, okay, well, maybe this is good for me. Maybe this,
Yeah.
let me check this out. Let me like dip my toes in here. Let me consume something.
Yeah.
And you know, by sharing something, a nugget,
Yeah.
sharing, you know, not just us, but if you're listening to this right now and you share um what you saw with yourself with somebody that's close to you, that sharing sparks more desire than in other people
Mhm.
too,
Yeah.
where that it's just like you have this thirst, this I want more of this.
Yeah.
I want more of this light. I want more of this happiness and this joy and this freedom for my life. So yeah, it's all perfect. You
And
know,
you
I'm
know,
like,
you taught me very early on is, when I was going through my hardships, that you're perfect, whole, and complete exactly the way you are. And that has stuck with
mhm,
me. Like, that's a Tina-ism. That has stuck with me for the years that I've known you, and I use it all the time because I truly believe that. We can be
mhm,
mad at our parents for what they've done or whatever, but we are perfect. They were perfect, whole, and complete as well. They were just doing the best that they could with where they were at. So if we can allow people the grace and be able to give them the freedom to find who they really are, and maybe, support
mhm.
them through that, that's that makes me it does make me very happy to know that we can do that for people and help them become unstoppable in their own lives.
Well, I just thought of our next podcast episode,
Okay,
4 levels of
perfect.
responsibility. And this one
Yes.
is just like mind-blowing. It's packed with nuggets. I just wrote it down because I'm like,
Perfect.
yes, we need to talk about that. You
Okay.
know, there's wisdom
Yeah.
in what you're saying. And yes. I love this conversation today. I hope you guys love this conversation and got a little golden nugget, or you feel some energy and you know, maybe there's one thing in here, and I say always look for one nugget,
Yeah.
one insight, one phrase, one aha,
Mhm.
and then take action on it.
Yeah.
Do something. Don't let it sit in your mind.
No.
Uh bring it to the world, bring it to your world, and make a difference. Be unstoppable.
Until next time, everyone, thanks for listening. Can't wait to see you the next time. Have a beautiful day. Well, friends, that is the end of our episode today. If you love this episode, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another episode. And please share us with your friends and tag us on your socials at The Art of Being Unstoppable. So for today, have yourself a beautiful day and let's be unstoppable together. See you next time.